Hi, my name is Don and I'm an animator. And as an animator, one of the most important things to know how to draw is your characters and their heads. Today, I'll show you guys how we quickly draw heads using some drawing shorthands that are often used in the industry. I think that trying to learn to draw from some of my and other artists' videos can be challenging sometimes because experienced artists will often skip steps to the drawing process because they just have the expertise to do so. And I am guilty of this too. It's the same principle that we no longer use our fingers to do arithmetic, I hope, but someone just learning math will find counting on their fingers quite useful. We should first look at how the head works structurally, and like always, before we draw, we should get some reference from real life. This is my friend Ichi-chan.
So, cosplay it's this.
She recently had her cosplay debut, so check out her Twitter if you like that stuff. And like any fine living specimens of our species, she has a head that we will study. The skull can really be simplified into two parts. One is the cranium at the top, the round area that holds our brain, and we can use the shorthand of a sphere to represent that. And then extending from the cranium is our jaw. The jaw comes down relatively straight from the cranium before joining together at the chin at the bottom. Drawing a vertical line at the halfway point will help us place the features, and it makes sure that our chin is also at the right spot. A horizontal line at the halfway point will help us place the eyes. Also, don't forget the ears on the side. The ears generally occupy the lower half of the jaw. Even if the ears are covered and not visible, drawing them will really help with the structure in your drawing. To finish, we can extend the neck and get those shoulders in there. Note that these are relatively normal proportions, and depending on the design of the character, this can, of course, change. Remember that in art, nothing is rigid, but you can't break the rules if you don't know the rules. Here, let's try drawing a character using this particular shorthand. I think this is a nice pose, head tilted, chin up, and looking down. We can start with the sphere for the cranium and extend the jaw from there. Get the ear in there, as well as a horizontal eye line. Note that this pose is a slight low-angle shot with the camera lower and pointing up at the character's face, so make sure that the eye line makes sense for what we are trying to express. This means our features should be a bit higher on the face than normal. We'll talk more about perspective later. Let's extend the neck from the head and then add the shoulders. With our little rough base drawn, we can start adding details to the character. I know that in some of my videos, I tend to draw everything on one layer and just erasing as I go, but I do recommend you keep your rough base drawing separate and just lower its opacity and then draw over it in another layer. Obviously, the design of your character is going to vary, but there are shared traits to drawing the features. Imagine the eyes as basic oval shapes and then separate it into parts. The upper eyelash, the lids, and the pupils, and then add the eyebrows on top. The design of these elements will vary based on the model sheet you are using, but as a general rule, to get appealing eye designs, give volume to the upper lashes and use thick weighted lines there. Also look for opportunities to mix up straight and curved lines to create appealing contrast in the design in the eyes. When placing the nose, make sure to account for the volume of the nose and offset it so that it isn't directly on top of the central vertical construction line. Although the nose is simplified in many designs in Japanese animation, it still isn't flat, and it has volume even if it's just a little dot on your character's face. With the mouth, do aim to place it near the central construction line. You generally don't want to give your characters a protruding gorilla jaw. With those done, let's make her cheeks a bit chubbier, I think that's cuter, and adjust her face a bit to give it more depth and interest by again mixing curved and straight lines around her chin area. Next, we can draw her hair. This character's hair is pretty voluminous, so using our rough drawing as a backing, we can add just enough so it makes sense for the character. We'll finish up the shoulders and tidy things up a bit. In my professional work, during rough animation, I tend to keep my line work rough, but still legible enough that it gets the feeling of the drawing through. Finally, we can add some shading if we wish. And I think the light and shadow further brings out the structural and 3D feel of this character. Next, let's take this pose and exaggerate it a bit. The head here is at a pretty extreme angle and needs some pretty gnarly foreshadowing and perspective work to get it to look right. In this situation, let's try the box construction method. We will simplify the head into a 3D rectangular prism. One of the sides of the box will be the face of the character, and the other side will be the side of the head. We can then fit the cranium and the jaw within our little box construction, and then after that, we can connect the neck and the rest of the body. We can also tidy it up a bit to make it easier to read. On the new layer, we can start drawing our character. Same idea as before, let's get the face and cheek in there, and then let's draw the features, the nose, and then the eyes. With this kind of perspective, the eyes and other features rest higher on the head, and because this is really low angle, the shape of the eyes are foreshortened and has an almost triangular shape with the lower eyelid forming a concave line. Then let's get the pupils in there, the eyelids, and then the brows. We'll finish up the features with her mouth, which should be around halfway between the nose and chin. And finally, we can add the hair. Make sure to take note of the perspective when we draw that. We can then get her shoulders drawn in too. I know that many young illustrators tend not to draw the shoulders when drawing the face, but I believe the shoulders can give a drawing a stronger sense of perspective and helps with your construction. And to finish, let's give her some shading. Let's use what we learned and try drawing the head in the high angle shot where we are looking down at our character. We'll use our box construction method and rough out the shape in the proper perspective. Then let's add our cranium and the jaw. Then let's get the ear and shoulders in there as well. With the rough construction complete, next is the outline of the face. And then after that is our facial features. When we look down at the head from above, the face is foreshortened and the features rest lower on the head. Also take note that the eyes generally have an almost trapezoid shape when we are looking at them from above. Alright, let's get her hair in there, making sure to again take note of the perspective and not to draw her scalp too small. Don't forget to add our character's shoulders in there too. Remember that the body really adds to a drawing's sense of perspective. And to finish, let's get that shading in. Looks cute. Well, I hope you guys learned something today. Thanks to everyone for watching. This channel is supported by my Patreon members, and if you'd like to keep this channel running, links are down below. Members get some extra content every month for as low as $1. Other than that, check out my social media, and I'll see you guys next time.